Hello, dear students, and a very good morning to all of you. Today, I am going to start the third chapter of civics, that is, the parliamentary form of government, part 1. I am providing you the first part today. So, as we all know, that India is a democratic country. We in India pride ourselves on being a democracy. All of you are well aware about the meaning of democracy. So, in this chapter of civics, we will try to understand basically two things. First is the relation between the ideas of participation in decision making. That means how the decision making process of a country or law making process of a country works with the participation of people, because India is a democratic country. That is why we will learn that how the citizens of the country participate in the decision making or the law making process of a country. Next, we will see that what is the need for all, why there is a need for all the democratic government to have the consent or approval to their citizens. In this chapter, we will learn this also, that why there is a need of all the democracies to have the consent to their citizens. So, students, let's start our chapter. Before starting the chapter, let's have a look on the content. First is introduction. Why parliamentary form of government? Structure of the parliament. Lok Sabha. Elections for Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha. Elections for Rajya Sabha. And what are the qualifications to become the member of Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha? So, in this chapter, let's start with the introduction first. The Constitution of India states that India has a parliamentary form of government. Now, students, have you ever imagined that what is a parliamentary system of government? Or one thing, maybe you have seen that in India we have a prime minister, but why there is no prime minister in the United States of America? In United States of America there is a president. So in India we follow the parliamentary form of government, and in America they follow the presidential form of government. Now again one question will arise in our mind, that what is the difference between a parliamentary and a presidential system of government? As all these questions arises in our mind, these questions will lead us to conclude that every country has a different form of government. Before knowing these forms of government, let us understand that every country is having different government systems. So basically, all of you are knowing that the government of India works with the help of three organs. The first organ is the legislative branch, the next organ is the executive branch, and the third organ is the judicial branch. As you have learned in class 7th also, when we were learning about the state legislatures, in that also we learned this, that state government works on the basis of three organs, and those three organs of our government are legislative, executive, and judicial branch. So let's have a look that what are the function of these legislative, executive, and judiciary. So the first of all, legislature, the function of the legislature is to make laws. As I have explained you earlier also, that what is the function of the legislature? The legislature is responsible for making laws for the country. As we have learned in class 7th about the state legislature, in that we learned about legislative assembly and legislative council. We learned this also, that there are many states in India that are unicameral and some are bicameral. We learned the concept of unicameral and bicameral. The state that is having only one house, that is legislative assembly, was the unicameral state, and the state that is having both the houses, that is legislative assembly and legislative council, is the bicameral. Okay, so basically what is the work of the legislature? Abhi, I will talk you about the state legislature only. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the central legislature. Okay, so basically, what is the work of the legislature? To make laws. Now, the second organ is executive. Now, what is the work of the executive? The executive implements the laws for the country. That means they were having the responsibility of executing, or we can say that they execute or they follow up the laws for us so that we can follow them. In executive, when we were learning about the state legislature, we learned about the chief minister, the governor, and the council of ministers of the chief minister. This I am telling you for the state government. Now, the third organ is judiciary. Now, what is judiciary? Judiciary is there for providing the justice. We have learned about the high courts and the subordinate courts. So, judiciary is for providing the justice to the people. If someone is breaking the laws, for that purpose, judiciary is there. Now, let's have a look what is a parliament. What is a parliament? Have you seen the picture of parliament? In Hindi, it is known as Sansad Bhavan. So, let's have a look at a parliament is basically an institution formed by a group of representatives. In India, we follow democracy, and the type of democracy that we follow in India is representative democracy, or we can say indirect democracy. Since India is a very large nation, it is not possible that each and every individual could participate in the government, or each and every individual can participate in the decision making or the law making process. That is why there is a provision of election. By the process of election, the people of India used to choose their representatives, and their representatives only form the parliament. So basically, what is the parliament? A parliament is an institution, we can say that, formed by groups of representatives, and those representatives are elected by the citizens of the country. Parliament hold the spirit of democracy in it. Now let's see the parliament. If we will talk about the Parliament of India, it is the supreme legislative body of the Republic of India. Supreme legislative body means it is the highest body that is having the responsibility of making laws in a country. The parliament upholds the spirit of democracy by the participation of people in the decision making. The representative that we choose, they are making or taking decisions on our behalf sitting in the parliament. So that is why India, or this is only the meaning of parliament, that parliament is a basic institution or a legislative body of any country, in that the representatives, group of representatives are elected by the citizens, sit now or take decisions for the country. Now let's have a look why parliamentary form of government. Why the people of India, or we can say that why our framers of the constitution chose parliamentary form of government for us. So in we will try to see how the parliament enables citizens to participate in decision making and control the government. Students, parliament is the most important symbol of Indian democracy and a key feature of the constitution. Okay, so basically the framers of the constitution choose the parliamentary form of government for India because they realize that the success of democracy depend on the participation of people in the governance of the country. In a vast country like India, it is not possible for all the citizens to participate in the governance directly or individually. So, there was a need to elect our representatives who would act on their behalf, who would act on our behalf in the parliament. So, we used to elect our representatives that works on the behalf of us in the parliament, and these representatives only form the parliament. Okay, now why do we need a parliament? So students, we need a parliament. The people that we choose, they sit in the parliament and take the decision of our welfare. In a parliamentary form of government, executives, all the executives, whether it is a prime minister of the chief or the chief minister, basically we'll talk about the prime minister. So all the executives that are working to implement the laws are the members of the parliament. The parliament can always keep a check on the powers of the executive, so the executive could not become a dictator like Hitler. Okay, so basically now we will see from where the parliamentary form of government was adopted in India. So the parliamentary form of government is adopted by the parliamentary system of Britain. We adopted the parliamentary form of government by the Britain parliamentary system. Now, as we will talk about the organs of central government. We are knowing that we are having government is having three organs: the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. In this chapter, we will basically learn about the parliament, that is the legislative body of the central government. Parliament is composed of two houses, that is, if we will talk about Article 79 of the Constitution, I'll explain you this article. So, executive body is Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, and President. And in judiciary, we will learn about the Supreme Court. So, basically, in this chapter, we are going to learn about the Parliament, the Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, and President. So, let's have a look on the structure of the Indian Parliament. According to the Article 79 of the Constitution, the it states that the Parliament of India will be composed of the President, the Lok Sabha, and the Rajya Sabha. So, students, we will talk about the President later. Here, we are talking about the two houses of the Indian Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Why we will talk about the President later? Because President is having both the powers. Like here I explained you that President is in the executive body, but here I explained you that President is in the parliamentary body also. So President is having both the functions, that is executive also and the legislative also. So let's have a look on the first is Lok Sabha. We are going to learn about the first house of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha. So let's have a look on what is Lok Sabha. So students, as we have learned about legislative assemblies or Vidhan Sabha in class 7th, like that only Lok Sabha is also there. That is Vidhan Sabha. Sabha means the organization that is formed by the people. So that is only Lok Sabha or the House of the People. Lok Sabha is also known as the House of the People, is the lower house of India's bicameral parliament. India's parliament is bicameral. One is Lok Sabha, two houses are there, one is Lok Sabha and one is Rajya Sabha. So basically, Lok Sabha is the lower house. It is also known as the House of the People, and India's parliament is bicameral. These three things we come to know. Now we will see why it is known as the House of the People. If someone asks you that why Lok Sabha is also known as the House of the People, then we will say the Lok Sabha is known as the House of the People because the members of the Lok Sabha are elected directly by the people through elections. We people only choose the representatives of the Lok Sabha. Now, the House meets in the Lok Sabha chamber of the Parliament House. There are two chambers in the Parliament. One is for the Rajya Sabha meeting and the next is for the Lok Sabha's meeting. So basically, where are the members of the Lok Sabha meets? They meet in the Parliament House, the Lok Sabha chamber of the Parliament House, that is in New Delhi. Where is the Parliament of India? It is in New Delhi. Now, let's have a look. According to the Constitution, there should be a maximum number in the Lok Sabha 552. That means the number of members in Lok Sabha should be 552. Now, among these 552 members, 550 530 members are from different states and 20 members from the union territories. Two members, these 530 and 20 members are being elected by us, by the people of the country, but the two Anglo-Indian members should also be there. Now, what is the meaning of Anglo-Indian? Anglo-Indian means the person who belongs to India also and Britain also. That is only two Anglo-Indian. That is from the that time only when India was under the Britishers. So these two Anglo-Indian members should be elected, should not be elected, they should be nominated by the president. That means no election procedure should take place for them to elect. The president will nominate that who will be the two Anglo-Indian member of the Lok Sabha. So let's revise Lok Sabha once again. So basically the Indian Parliament is bicameral. Lok Sabha is the house of the people. It is lower house of the parliament. The member of the Lok Sabha is directly elected through the election by the people. Okay, so basically according to the constitution, maximum members in the Lok Sabha should be 552. Out of 552, 530 should be from different states and 20 members should be elected from different union territories. Two Anglo-Indians should be nominated by the president. Now next we will see more points. Now we will talk about the current Lok Sabha that is working in the center. So students, presently it is the 17th Lok Sabha working in the center. Okay. Now it has 543 members. I have explained you the maximum members should be 552, but currently there are 543 members in our Lok Sabha. Now, who is the Speaker of Lok Sabha? So, the Speaker of Lok Sabha is Om Birla. Who is the Leader of the House? Leader of the House is Narendra Modi. Now, one thing, this time the appointment of two additional Anglo-Indian members was abolished in January 2020 by the 104th Amendment of 2019. Why I am explaining you this, that now the two Anglo-Indian members are not nominated by the president, or they are not the member of they are not the member of Lok Sabha, because according to the 104th amendment this provision is finished or abolished. Now let's have a look how are the members of Lok Sabha elected. So for the election of the Lok Sabha, as all of you are knowing that members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. Now as all of us are knowing that the elections for the Lok Sabha is termed as general election. When election held all over the country, that is a general election. So the election to the Lok Sabha are held at regular interval of 5 years. After every 5 years, the Lok Sabha dissolved and the new Lok Sabha formed. Okay. So as all of you are knowing that India is a very large country, that is having 28 states and 8 union territories. Earlier, we were having 29 states and 7 union territories. Among that, one state, that is Jammu and Kashmir, is divided into two union territories, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So after that, we were having 28 states and 9 union territories. But later on, the two union territories, that is Daman and Diu and Dadar and Nagar Haveli, mixed with each other. So now it become one. So now we are having 28 states and 8 union territories. As we are knowing that India is a very large country, we learned about this in class 7th also, that for the purpose of election, India is divided into smaller constituencies. Basically, it is not possible to conduct election in whole country together. That is why a country is divided into various smaller constituencies so that election could take place efficiently. Now we will see, as all of you are knowing that there are various political parties, so all the political parties contest these elections, like BJP, Congress, PSP, and all the national parties will participate in the Lok Sabha election. Now As all of us are knowing that the party which get more than half of the seats is considered as the majority party. We have learned that the political party that gets more number of seats, that will become the majority party. But in case if not any single party is not able to gain clear majority, in that case more than two parties can combine together to form the majority. So all of you are knowing that if in this case when two or more than two parties come together to form the government, so this type of government is known as coalition government. So now let's have a look. In this way, candidates directly elected by the people become members of the legislature. Now, from each and every constituencies, members are elected to the Lok Sabha. Now, these members became the leaders, or we can say that these members became the members of the legislature. Now, as you can see, the leader of the majority party becomes the prime minister. As in the 17th Lok Sabha election, the party that gets the majority of seats was Bharatiya Janata Party, that is BJP, who now that party will only decide that who will become, or their leader will become the prime minister at the central level. As I have explained you in class 7th also, that the political party that wins the election, the leader of that party will become the chief minister of the state. Like that only, this time during the Lok Sabha election, the party that gets the majority of the vote, that the leader of that party will become the prime minister. Now, the members, those who became the member of Lok Sabha, now they are known as MPs. They are known as MPs. Okay. Now, as you can see in the picture, the Lok Sabha also have, or the members of the Lok Sabha used to elect one speaker. So that speaker is responsible for conducting all the proceedings of the Lok Sabha. Presently, Om Birla, you can see the picture of Om Birla right side. So Om Birla is the speaker of the Lok Sabha this time, and there is one deputy speaker also. Deputy speaker works in the absence of speaker. But this time in the government of BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, there is no deputy speaker appointed till now for the Lok Sabha. Now we will talk about Rajya Sabha. Let's have a look. What is a Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha is also known as Council of States. It is the upper house of the bicameral parliament. Students, this one, the Lok Sabha is the temporary house. This house always dissolve after the 5 years, and fresh election will take place and the new government will form. It is known as the Lok Sabha is known as the temporary house because after every 5 years, new election will take place and new government will form. Maybe any other party win the election, or if that same party win the election, then that same party will become the government, will form the government. Now Rajya Sabha. So basically Rajya Sabha is known as Council of States. It is the upper house of the bicameral parliament. Now it is the upper house. The member of the Rajya Sabha are not directly elected by the people. That is why it is known as Council of the State, because the members of Rajya Sabha are being elected by the state legislatures. I will explain you how. So basically they are elected by the members of state legislative assemblies by Vidhan Sabha, or we can say that by the members of Vidhan Sabha, by following the process of single transferable vote. Please note it down. If the question arises that how are the members of the Rajya Sabha elected, so your answer will be that the members of the Rajya Sabha are being elected by the process of single transferable vote. According to the Constitution of India, the maximum numbers of the Rajya Sabha should be 250. Maximum number should be 250. Okay. Among these 250 candidates, 238 members are elected by the members of the state legislature. Now, 238 members should be elected from state legislature, okay, or electoral college of union territories. Since union territories do not have legislative assembly and legislative council, so that is why they formed electoral college. Only two union territories are there. First is Delhi and the second is Puducherry, that are having the legislative assemblies. That is why they follow the process of their member of state legislative assembly participate in the election of member of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so 238 members will be elected by the state legislature, not by the people, by the state members of the state legislatures, and 12 are nominated, not elected, nominated. They are named by the President of India. Now, who are these? These are the person, the 12 nominated person have did something distinguished, or we can say that extraordinary in their fields, whether it is in the field of art, literature, science, social services, etc. Basically, you are knowing about Jayaprada. Jayaprada is also the member of, she's a Bollywood actress. She's a member of Rajya Sabha. You are knowing about MC Mary Kom, boxer. She is also the member of Rajya Sabha. So they are the nominated members of the Rajya Sabha that are being nominated by our president. So the maximum number of members in the Rajya Sabha is 250. इसमें से 238 will be elected and 12 will be nominated. Okay, so let's revise Rajya Sabha again. Rajya Sabha is also known as Council of State. It is known as the upper house. One important thing, this is the permanent house. Okay, more I am explaining you. So the members of the Rajya Sabha are not elected directly by the people. They are elected by the state legislative assemblies. Now let's have a look. We will learn more about Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, and unlike Lok Sabha, it is not subjected to dissolution. This party never dissolved. Now let's see. The members of Rajya Sabha served for the term of 6 years. As we have learned in class 7th also, when we were learning about Council of State, that is Legislative Council, in that we have learned that the term of the members of the Legislative Council is 6 years. Like that only, the members of Rajya Sabha are also elected for the year of 6. But after every 2 years, one third members retire. Now, Rajya Sabha elections do not take place for every or whole seats. These election takes place only on the vacant seats. Like after 2 years, there will be one third seats vacant. So election will take place for that one third seats only. Now, the vice president is the ex officio chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. The vice president of country of India is the chairperson or chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Now, the chairperson conducts the day-to-day affair of the Rajya Sabha. The chairperson is responsible for conducting the day-to-day affair of the Rajya Sabha. Okay. Now, more we will see. In present, there are 245 members in Rajya Sabha. Maximum 250, but in present there are 245 members, and among that 12 members are nominated and 233 are elected by state legislatures and electoral college of union territories. So if someone asks you that presently how many members are there in Rajya Sabha, it will be 245. Now, who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha? So Venkaiah Naidu, the current Vice President of India, is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Who is the deputy chairman? The deputy chairman is Harivansh Narayan Singh. So this is the information about Rajya Sabha. Now we will see how are the members of Rajya Sabha elected. So this procedure is very difficult for you all, and it is not given in your book also, but I'm trying to explain you little bit about that how is the process of the election of members of the Rajya Sabha took place. So students, first of all, it is important to know that who participates in the for the election of Rajya Sabha members. So only the members of the state legislative assemblies can vote in a Rajya Sabha election. Like number of seats are reserved or number of constituencies are only named as seats. Like a state is divided into number of constituencies, like that only a state is having fixed seat of Rajya Sabha members. The state that is having more population, that will have more Rajya Sabha members, and the state that is having less population, they will have less number of Rajya Sabha members. So who elect the members of the Rajya Sabha? The members of the state legislative assembly. Suppose that you have we have to choose the members of the Rajya Sabha of Uttar Pradesh. So, the Legislative Assembly of Uttar Pradesh, that is only having the right to choose or to elect the member of Rajya Sabha. The members of Rajya Sabha are elected by, please note down the process. That process is known as proportional representation through single transferable vote. Proportional representation through single transferable vote. This is the process of the election of the members of Rajya Sabha. Now, the seats are allotted to the states in the upper house on the basis of population of that state. Elections are only held for the one third of the vacant seats after every 2 years. I have explained you this, that the election will not take place on whole 245 seats. The Rajya Sabha members who will complete their 6 years of term, they will get retired after every 2 years, and only the election will take place for the one third of the vacant seat. This I will explain you with the example of Rajasthan. Recently, the Rajasthan Rajya Sabha election took place. Maybe you have seen the news that one member of state legislative assembly was suffering from corona. He wear the PPE kit and then go for the Rajya Sabha election voting. Maybe you have seen in the news. So currently Rajya Sabha election was in news. That is why I am explaining you Rajya Sabha, Rajasthan Rajya Sabha election. So students, there are 200 MLAs in Rajasthan. That means the legislative assembly, members of legislative assembly, there are 200 members. Okay, and in that 200 members, 124 members belongs to Congress party. There in Rajasthan there is a government of Congress party. So 124 members belongs to Congress, and in opposition there is BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, with 76 seats. So 124 seats belong to Congress and 76 seats belongs to BJP. Total MLAs are 24. Now let's have a look. So total MLAs are 200. Total Rajya Sabha seats in Rajasthan. MLAs are 200 and total Rajya Sabha seats are only 10. Now, as we are knowing only one third vacant seats are there, so one third of 10 will become 3. So only 3 for the seat of 3, the elections of Rajya Sabha will take place. Now what will happen for the election? So therefore 200 MLAs have to vote or elect only 3 members. As you have seen, Congress is in majority here. 124 seats are with Congress and 76 seats are with BJP. So basically it is quite known that the members of the Congress, if they will choose the Congress leader or the Congress candidate, then the Congress candidate will only win because they are in majority. Now let's have a look. Now suppose that 5 members are going to contest for 3 seats. Now suppose that 5 members are going to contest election for that 3 seats. Okay. So what will happen? The name of the candidates are printed on the ballot paper. क्या होता है? The name of the candidates are printed A, B, C, D. Candidate A, candidate B, candidate C, candidate D. Okay, and candidate E. So like this only, names are printed on a ballot paper. These elections are take place on the ballot paper only. And every MLA has to do, every MLA has to mark his preferences. Like, preferences means to which candidate he want first, then which candidate he want to become member, then which candidate. So like that only, in front of the name of all those five candidates, they have to mark their preferences. Like, yes, first पे किसको चाहता है, second पे किसको चाहता है, तो like that only they used to mark their preferences 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Like Ramesh Kumar, Mohammad Iqbal and Narsingh Yadav. Among these, one person has put his preferences, like Mohammad Iqbal first, he want Mohammad Iqbal to become the member of Rajya Sabha. His second preference is Ramesh Kumar, his third preference is Narsingh Yadav. So like that only they give preferences, and the preferences of every MLA is being counted. Okay, and the person who get majority of preferences, so that will become the member of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so like this only the process of the election of the Rajya Sabha take place. It is bit difficult for you all, but I have tried to give you some gist of that, so that at least you will be able to understand that how are the members of Rajya Sabha been elected. Now let's have a look what are the qualifications of the member of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Qualifications are same for both the houses, only there is age difference that we will see. Firstly, he or she should be a citizen of India. If you want to contest election or if you want to become the member of Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, you have to be the citizen of India. He or she should not be less than 25 years of age for the member of Lok Sabha. If you want to contest or if you want to become the member of Lok Sabha, so your age should be more than 25 or 25. And if you want to become the member of Rajya Sabha, your age should be either 30 or more than 30, not less than 30. Now, he or she should not be proclaimed criminal. There should be no criminal record against you in the court. Now, the person should not be mentally unsound or declared bankrupt. That is only that there should be no criminal record or no bankruptcy against you, and your mental health should be okay. He or she must not hold any office of profit. The person should not work for any government office. So, all these are the qualifications to become the member of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Please remember the age. For Lok Sabha, it should not be less than 25, and for Rajya Sabha, your age should not be less than 30. So, students, this is all for today. And I hope that all of you are able to understand whatever I have tried to explain. In case if you are not able to understand, you can ask me through the comment section. Tomorrow I will provide you the second part of this video. In that we will learn about the functions of the parliament, and we will learn about the executive body, that is the prime minister, functions of prime minister, council of minister and president. President is the most important topic in this chapter. Okay, so we will learn about that what is the difference between the power and functions of the president and prime minister. So this is all for today, students. Thank you very much.